What's up, guys? I want to touch on something real quick. I'm very proud of who I am as a black man, where I come from, how I was raised, my parents, grandparents, and I believe that everybody should be proud of who they are and where they come from. If you're Latino, you know, you're proud. You're proud of your roots, your heritage, your music, your dancing, your livelihood, your liveliness, if you're an African, you should be proud of where you come from and the dance of your tribe, the different things your tribe does that's different than another tribe. You should be proud, and we should also be proud as a nation together. Like when we go to the Olympics, how proud we are of the Olympic team doing well, whether it's track and field or it makes us feel proud that that's a part of us. So there's a lot of pride there. That being said, there is an epidemic going on, and it's not, they want us to talk about, when I say they, I talk about the media wants us to talk about black versus white. That's what they want us to talk about. They want us to focus on that particular point, whether it be a black man and a white police officer, or just a white and a black person in general. And they want that because it is a problem, sure enough, but it's not the crux, it's not the meat, it's not the source of the problem. The source of the problem for our community, for the black community, is us. We are the source. We are the problem, and we are also a big part of the solution. We're the problem because we don't respect one another. We will not respect ourselves. We are the only ones that you see or hear talking about stuff like no snitching. So you mean to tell me that if someone is slinging crack, they're slinging dope to 13, 14, 15-year-olds, that's okay because they're just trying to make a living. Hey, they hustling. Let them get their hustle on. No snitching. Hey, that's none of my business. They're destroying lives in our community. They're destroying children's lives, middle schoolers, high schoolers. What chance do they have to make it after they get hooked on that junk? They don't have a chance. They're taking lives just at a slower rate and dragging their death along and sucking them for all of their money, all of their worth. I've worked in places before where the dealers would give the regulars credit, and come the 1st or the 15th when their food stamps come in or when their little check come in, they would meet them at the ATM. They would drive them or take them to the ATM, and they would stay right there and get their money. And if you didn't pay, you knew what was going to happen. We allow that to go on in our communities. What does that have to do with white people? What does a crack dealer on the side of the street dealing to somebody, and you walking by and seeing it and saying nothing and calling nobody, or calling them out on the, get that off my street corner. You're not going to be out here selling to these kids. That's my niece. That's my nephew. That's my cousin. That's my somebody I know. But we're allowing these things to happen in our own community. So the world sees us disrespecting one another and disrespecting ourselves. If you're disrespecting yourself, if you have no self-respect, why do you expect, why do you think, why do you deserve to be respected by anyone and everyone else? If a woman is walking down the street and she's dressed in short everything's hanging out, falling out, boobs are everywhere, and somebody pulls up next to her and says, hey baby, how much? And she get mad. I ain't for sale. Who you think this is? I ain't no hoochie. I ain't no hooker. Well, you look like one. You dress like one. You act like one. You're presenting yourself as not being a respectable woman. So somebody comes along and says something that they would say to a person who's not respecting themselves, and now you get mad. It's like that in today's society. But the media has turned it to make us be against white people and not against ourselves. No, if black people are killing black people, then we need to be against the ones who's killing black people. They need to come to justice. Just like white people or white police officers or whomever's killing, anyone who's committing mendicities out here, they need to go to jail. But they have turned it to the point to where we'll look and point the finger and march up and down the street and rant and rave on Facebook and social media over a white officer killing a black man, where if it was justified or if it wasn't justified. We'll do all of this and use all of our energy and focus on that particular thing. Meanwhile, these guys are still slinging crack and slinging dope to our children. And that's okay. See, what I'm saying is that's a double standard. It's like a triple standard. And we've got to stop that. Either it's going to be injustice to the black community is not going to be tolerated across the board. That's black men raping black women. That's white officers taking advantage of black women. That's young boys being taken advantage of by black men and by white men. Either we gonna be honorable across the board, or we just need to shut up. You can't pick and choose who you want to hold accountable. If a black man has killed another black man, don't say, "Oh, free my nigga, free my nigga, hey, free my nigga, free my nigga." Free? What you mean free? He killed somebody. This man admitted to it. He signed an agreement to avoid the death penalty and said, "Yeah, I killed the man. But y'all want to free my nigga, free my nigga." But a black man, whether you ain't even got all the facts yet, it just happened. Oh, kill that cop, kill that honky, kill that man. The media has taken over our minds, guys. And in order for us to take it back, we've got to start respecting ourselves. Number one, we've got to start respecting our families. We've got to start respecting each other. We've got to come together and be organized. Not some dysfunctional, they doing what they doing. They none of my business. I ain't got no business worried about what that man's doing. Yes, you do. Because if that man is taking advantage of 13-year-old girls, 12-year-old boys, 16-year-old dope fiends, they done got hooked on this stuff, that is your business. That's your future. That's your heritage. Those are your people. So it is your business. So don't tell me that ain't no snitching and ain't none of my business and I'm just trying to get mine and he just hustling trying to get his. No, he's just as wrong as a white officer who's not justifiably out here killing folks. I read a story a couple months ago where an officer was using his badge. I forgot. I think it was in Chicago. I forgot where. Using his badge to rape women, rape black women, the ones who was homeless or the ones who was had priors and prostitutes. He was raping them, taking a part of their soul, man. Taking a part of their soul. That's just as wrong as somebody out here who's taking advantage of black people. Another black man. It's just as wrong. We can't see it any other way. We can't see it as free my nigga, but him up, hang him, beat him, lynch him because he's a white man. Doesn't matter. If anybody's coming in and tearing down the black community, if anybody's coming in and tearing down the Latino community, if anybody's trying to tear down the white community, everybody's got to stand up and be equal. I'm very proud of who I am, where I come from. Very proud of being a self-respecting black man. I'm very proud of being a man of God. I'm not perfect. I'm not always right, but I do love God. I do show the love of God towards my children, and I'm raising them up to be lovers of the church and lovers of God as well, and lovers of women. We've got to respect ourselves. Pull your pants up, for God's sake. That's showing people you don't respect yourself. Oh man, I can tag my pants if I want to. You're not respecting yourself. You look like an imbecile showing your draws. You're showing that I'm not to be respected. I'm not to be taken seriously. Look at the way that I dress. Look at the way that I conduct myself. I'm not to be taken seriously. That's what you're saying to the world. And we can sit here and justify it all we want. So you shouldn't judge a man by what he got on. Okay, next time you go to the ATM at 11 p.m. and see somebody in a hoodie, sagging their pants, walking by, don't look back. Don't lock your doors. You are judging. Everyone's judging. You know that. You know that. You know good and well you judging. You don't want some little punk thug to be running around with your daughter, showing her all the hood, showing her drugs you be taking, showing her how y'all turn up on Friday night. Your daughter's 14 years old. You don't want her around that guy, though. Right? Okay. So stop with the double standards. I'm very proud of who I am, very proud of being a black man, but I'm more proud of being a human. I'm more proud of being a child of God than I am anything else. And I've got to show forth the love of God. And guys, I don't always do that. Thank God for grace and mercy. I don't always show forth the love of God. Sometimes I curse. Sometimes I say things that I don't mean. Sometimes I think thoughts that I don't mean. I'm not perfect, but guys, I'm more proud of being a child of God than I am anything else. And before I do anything to anyone, I want to show them and share with them the love of God that God has towards me, and that he still favored me, even though all of my indiscretions, even though all of my mess, he still favored me and still chose me. And he chose you too. He didn't look at the color of your skin. Christ died for all men. God so loved the world, the whole world, you, me, him, her, them, up, down, left side, over there in Istanbul, over there in Afghanistan. He loved the whole world, that he gave his only begotten son for everyone. So to sit here and think about how big the world is, and to be worried about something as silly as race, that's foolishness. Y'all, that's foolishness. But it's not going to end until we begin to respect one another and we respect ourselves. The world is looking, and if you're acting disrespectable, that's even a word, if you're acting like somebody who's not to be taken seriously and not to be respected, then you can't sit here and have a double standard when someone else does something to you, whether somebody you know or somebody you love. I'm not getting into police and who shot who and who's justified. I'm just saying, as a whole, we've got to come together and get organized. This is not going to be happening in our community. It's just not. We're going to stop it, whether it's black, whether it's white. If I see somebody on the street corner, they need to go to jail. Straight up. He out here slinging this mess to these kids and getting them into the cycle, getting them into the system. So when they get into the prison, when they get into the... we perpetuating the cycle, man. Nobody but us. We got to stop. So, all that. What y'all think?